This is Caitlin Ely for LED 3040, and I'm going to be presenting my literacy elements lesson plan for you guys today. To start the lesson, we would review characters, which we had done the day before in class. What is a character? How to describe a character, not just physical traits, but character traits. And I would have an anchor chart, or possibly just present it on my smartboard that we had done the day before. And on the day before, I would have my students help me fill this in. Can you see? So we would do a reading, and I would have them fill in different words, maybe Post-its, or we could write it in, of different character traits. So again, I would ask them what a character is. It's either a person or a subject or an animal that a story is, that a story's about. I can't find my lesson plan. Here it is. Okay. They're the people and the animals and the things that take part in the events of a story. Sorry. And then we would give some words that could describe character traits versus physical traits. So physical traits would be short, tall, skinny, large, and character traits could be brave or smart, funny, and so on. So then for the motivation for my lesson, I would present and read the book Room on the Broom. If it works out that this lesson comes at this point of the year, I think it would be appropriate since it is a Halloween-themed book. But anyway, Room on the Broom. The witch had a cat and a hat that was black, and long ginger hair in a braid down her back. How the cat purred and how the witch grinned, and they sat on the broomstick and flew through the wind. But how the witch wailed and how the cat spat when the wind blew so wildly it blew off her hat. Sorry, this is my kid's book. It has been used and loved. Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the hat, but no hat could be found. Then out of the bushes, on thunder-rank paws, there bounded a dog with a hat in his jaws. He dropped it politely, then eagerly said, as the witch pulled the hat firmly down on her head, "I am a dog, as keen as can be. Is there room on the broom for a dog like me?" "Yes," cried the witch, and the dog clambered on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Over the fields and the forest they flew. The dog wagged his tail, and the stormy wind blew. The witch laughed out loud and held on to her hat, but away blew the bow from her braid just like that. And during this reading, I paused to ask questions. So, who started off on the broom? Who do they have now? What happened? What problem does the witch have now? Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the bow, but no bow could be found. Then out from a tree with an ear-splitting shriek, there flapped a green bird with a bow in her beak. She dropped it politely and bent her head low, then said, as the witch tied her braid in the bow, "I am a bird as green as can be. Is there room on the broom for a bird like me?" "Yes," cried the witch. So the bird fluttered on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. So now how many do we have on the broom? We have 3 on the broom. They've added 2 new people to the broom. Over the reeds and the rivers they flew. The birds shrieked with glee, and the stormy wind blew. They shot through the sky to the back of beyond. The witch clutched her bow, but let go of her wand. Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the wand, but no wand could be found. Then all of a sudden, from out of a pond leaped a dripping wet frog with a dripping wet wand. He dropped it politely, then said with a croak, as the witch dried the wand on a fold of her cloak, "I am a frog, as clean as can be. Is there room on the broom for a frog like me?" "Yes," said the witch, so the frog bounded on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Over the moors and the mountains they flew. The frog jumped for joy, and the broom snapped in two. Down fell the cat and the dog and the frog, and they went tumbling into a bog. The witch's half broomstick flew into a cloud, and the witch heard a roar that was scary and loud. I am a dragon as mean as can be, and you, witch, look like a good supper to me. No, cried the witch, flying higher and higher. The dragon flew after her, breathing out fire. Help, cried the witch, flying down to the ground. She looked all around, but no help could be found. The dragon drew nearer and started to drool. He said, I won't let you go. Do you think I'm a fool? But just as he planned to begin his feast, from out of the ditch rose a horrible beast. It was tall, dark, and sticky, and feathered and furred. It had 4 frightful heads, and it had wings like a bird. And its terrible voice, when it shrieked to speak, was a yowl and a growl and a croak and a shriek. It dripped and it squealed, and as it strode from the ditch, and it said to the dragon, Buzz off, that's my witch. You see? Then she filled up her cauldron and said with a grin, Find something, everyone. Throw something in. So the frog found a lily, the cat found a cone, the bird found a twig, and the dog found a bone. They threw them all in, and the witch stirred them well, and while she was stirring, she muttered a spell. Iggity, ziggity, zaggity, zoom! Then out rose a truly magnificent broom, with seats for the witch and the cat and the dog, a nest for the bird, and a pool for the frog. Yes, cried the witch, and they all clambered on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. The end. So, I would try to question them, pause 5 moments to add questions during the reading, to kind of guide them into seeing what the moral of the story is and to help them connect to it. But after the motivation, we would go into activity 1, which is a story retell wheel. So I'd present it to the class. Let me pull it out real quick. It's a wheel, and you spin it, and you get different questions each time. Mine's a little tight. Let me see if I can loosen it. Well, that didn't work. Okay, anyway, I would pair the students off after we discussed the story, and I would have one student hold the wheel, spin it, and the other student answer the question. And this can be a discussion type thing where they can both kind of feed off of each other, but they would take turns spinning and answering until they have completed all the questions. Let's do one together. Number 3. What happens in the beginning of the story? So they would discuss what they thought happened. The story introduced 2 characters, which was the witch and the cat. The wind kept blowing off items of the witches. What did they blow off? The hat, the wand, the bow in her hair, and every time it blew off, she found a new friend. So the beginning was the witch losing items and finding new friends in the process. So then after they've completed all of those questions, we would move on to activity 2, which is a story sequence organizer. And this would be done individually. I would present it and explain it to my students that we are going to write out what happens at the beginning, what happens at the middle, and what happens at the end of our story. Depending on your grade level, this is a lesson plan for first grade, so I feel like they could write simple sentences, but you would prefer to draw. I mean, they can draw it instead, but for mine, I would have them write out what happened at the beginning, the middle, and the end. And when they have completed this, we would move on to closure. For my closure, I wanted to do like a graphic organizer, an interactive one where I could complete it with the students, kind of a whole class discussion of the book while we're typing out or filling in this organizer together. Let me see. I would have this, and I did set it up, but it's kind of difficult to show, and I don't have a smart board, so it really doesn't matter. But I would have a colored box in here, and here, and then doom, doom, doom. So we would start off by discussing. The somebody is who the story is revolved around. Who's the story about? It's about a witch. What did she want? Well, she kept dropping all of her items, and she wanted to get them back. So then, and you keep guiding the questions to where you can help your class come up with the answers and resolve it themselves. Anyway, and I do have something printed for my early finishers I can show you. And this is similar to the activity that I pulled from Florida Research Center, but mine would be strictly pictures for them. So the early finishers would just take this after they've completed activity 2, and they would draw it into pictures instead of writing it out into words. So they would draw out what happened at the beginning, draw out what happened at the middle, and then draw out what happened at the end, the resolution. So, and for my enrichment activity for students that I feel are just a little bit beyond this lesson, they can move a little bit at a quicker pace, so to say, I have a main idea activity sheet or worksheet, and this is they're going to have to tell us what the main idea of the story is and give 3 details from the text to support their main idea that they've given us. So, I mean, this is a lot harder, but you just gauge where they're at and see, if you think they can handle it, if they're ready for it. Okay, and then on the opposite end, for my remediations for the students who need a little bit extra practice on what we just completed, I have a story sequencing sheet where it gives visuals. So this does help them, it makes it a lot easier for them to see the story while they're working this out. And I would have them complete this together with me. So we would read it together and talk about in which order they happen while they're filling it out. And hopefully that would kind of clarify what we were trying to achieve for the students that, just didn't quite understand. And what else do I have? Special needs and homework. Okay. My special needs students, I would have given them extended time for their homework and for their classroom assignments. And, sorry, let me see where it's at. For my reading disability students, I'm going to give them extended time for their assignments and homework, and I am going to give them the 5-finger retell visual, give me a 5, so they can have this to refer to when they're trying to retell a story. So it'll have, give me 5, what 5 things do we need to retell the story? Characters, setting, beginning, middle, end. And they can refer to this when they're trying to retell. And for my ELL students, I would recommend for them to have 20 minutes of tutoring twice a week, and I would also give them extended time for assignments and homework. And then homework. I have a short story. It's just a little read. It's a paragraph, and they would sequence events that they had read about in their short read on this particular worksheet. So the vet can help. The vet can help my pets. The vet has a kit that is red and white. The vet said, and so on. But anyway, they'll cut and paste in the order that it happened to help them sequence the events that they just read about. So my objective for this lesson, since I didn't give it, sorry, is to retell stories, including key details, and demonstrate an understanding of the central message of the lesson. So they need to be able to retell me the story, giving important details, kind of like the give me a 5, the characters, the setting, the plot, the beginning, middle, end. And this is important for them to grasp because it's going to give them a different level of their reading comprehension. So, I mean, it's only going to make them more fluent readers in the end. All right, well, thank you.